Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.
I'm just jazzed about being on the show, man.
You are listening to The Objective Jerk, where objectiveness is the objective, and I am said jerk.
What's going on? This is The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How's everyone doing? Hope everybody's doing great. Getting close to summer pretty soon. So things are going to change. It's definitely going to get really, really hot here. I find that I need structure. I think that's why I did. Not like I was like awesome in the army, but for me, it worked, you know. I go through periods where I'm in the mood to work out, but then I go through periods where I don't care. And when you're in the army, you don't have a choice. So it worked for me. You know, having to get up and be it just kind of, whether I wanted to or not, I had to go, and it just kind of kept me. I think the military is good for people with mental issues, depression, things like that. The only thing is, though, you know, you go to combat and then something happens, it can make it worse. That's the only thing. So there's kind of a give and take, I guess. But it worked for me. So it's like I try and do the same thing here in my home life, being, you know, I don't have a job. I just get up. Like right now, when I go to bed like 10 o'clock at night. I'm usually in bed by. So I get up early, 5:30, get my kids up and ready. I take them to school, and then I come home and I try and read the Bible, drink some coffee, and then I kind of start my day, which I'm still going to do. I just thought I'd do a podcast real quick. But yeah, and I always plan out what I'm going to do. I'm always like, okay, I'm going to do this today. But that's usually when I'm in a good mood, though. But I try and keep it going. But when I'm in my shit moods, like my wife's taking the kids to school a little more often. I mean, if I get good sleep, I'll do it. But I don't know. It's just it's the shit moods that's the problem. Trying to keep myself going. And for the most part, you know, I don't think I have like a typical depression. Like, you know, people like don't shave. Well, obviously I don't shave, but you know, they don't shower, they don't do whatever. I'm kind of like that. Usually I'll shower. I'll get up and be like, okay, I'll shower to try and make myself feel. It doesn't really work. Yeah, I don't know. It's like sometimes, so it's like I have my depression, but I also have my, I don't know what I got exactly, but it's like sometimes when I try and push myself, I get irritable. So it's like, you know, they say, okay, if you're depressed, you should, you got to get up, you got to take a shower, you got to go do something, get something done, you got to go somewhere. But when I do that, I'm irritable, I'm angry, I'm not pleasant to be around at all. You know what I mean? So that's why it's better for me to just stay at home. So I don't know. I guess that's the important thing, is to just not give up, keep trying to find what works. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to work on a little side hustle. I don't want to say too much yet because I'm still in the early stages. But something, it's more just to give me something to do. I mean, if it, you know, brings in some extra money or something, I mean, as long as it pays for itself, that's what I'd be happy with. And maybe this podcast, because right now I have money that go towards this podcast. I pay, and the podcast doesn't pay for itself. You know, so it's like I need something that can maybe give me a little return. But yeah, so I don't know. Once I'm going with that, I'll probably talk about it more later. But it is something, I don't know. I'm always trying to find something to kind of keep my interest, even when I'm in my shit moods. That seems to be my goal usually. It's like, when I'm in my good moods, my highs of my bipolarism or whatever, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, I've been wanting to do blacksmithing, metalworking, like make some knives and stuff forever. And I still do want to, but getting an anvil here is kind of tough, and they're expensive here too, man. To find a good anvil, and I know you can make other things to work and stuff like that, but I just kind of think you need the anvil. So I'm just kind of keeping my eyes open. I still want to. I have this idea to make some knives, but it's like, I have all these little things that I either do or want to do, little hobbies, and like I used to really be into mountain biking, and when I first got here, that's all I did. But then it's like I don't know. Plus, I kind of have back problems, so sometimes my back would just be killing me. I couldn't ride very long, and my back would just. So it's kind of. I mean, I just probably have to stretch. My medication plus, I mean, I'm overweight than what I should be, but with my medication, it was even worse. I don't know. The point is, I think it's just important to just keep looking for something, even though you feel like you're never finding it. I think maybe that's what you got to do, just keep trying some stuff. And I think I found what will work. I think I found what I've been looking for, but time will tell. But I think I finally figured it out, which was like, it's kind of obvious now that you think about it and look at it. But anyway, yeah, so been working on that a little bit, and I gotta work on stuff for that a little today, or I want to, but I gotta get some stuff done around the house. But anyway, the main reason I wanted to do a podcast was, again, I know maybe I'm beating the record player, and but the traffic, the driving here, I just wanted like another aspect of it, or maybe I think a lot of times I talk about it, I'm just like frustrated and angry, but now I feel like I can maybe explain it better, maybe. I don't know. But if you guys are tired of me talking about the traffic and everything here, send me a comment or email and be like, dude, we get it. The traffic sucks, or the driving sucks. And it's not even traffic. It's not the traffic. I mean, kind of, but it's just the way they drive. And for those that have listened to other podcasts know what I'm talking about. But again, it's just, I get my kids up a little earlier and leave a little earlier and drop them off at school a little earlier than others, because I'm avoiding the traffic, which is kind of jacked up, I guess. But they're at school. I think it's good to be there early and not, late. And because there are times where for me on my schedule, woke up late, and I'm thinking, oh man, they're going to be late. And it's like, then you see that's when everybody's going there. So the normal time they get there is early, but I think it's good for them to build that be there early mentality, which I didn't have when I was younger. I always got to work right at the right time, or even a little late. I mean, my job wasn't a huge deal if I was a little late, but they were like, yeah, dude, you need to be on time just because you should. Now, and I think it was the Army that really kind of instilled the being early, because I've talked about, early you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, you're wrong. And so I just, I took that to heart when I was in the Army. So I always made sure that it was early, because that way it seemed like, especially when I was, as a private and everything, it's like you'd get there and then you'd remember something, or oh crap. So I'd want to get there early enough to where if I had to go back to the barracks or something, I could. Things like that. And then sometimes when you were there early, you would get tasked to do something else. So like if you had to go to the motor pool, anybody that doesn't know, the motor pool is where they keep all the vehicles and equipment, and not equipment, but some equipment, a lot of equipment. Well, yeah, the equipment, the connexes are there, but I'm sure it's different everywhere. But at least when I was in, this how it was. I'm sure it's pretty similar, but today. But if you got there early, sometimes you would get designated to do something else, a different task that a lot of times was much more enjoyable than connex unloading and reloading, or, like you'd go to the motor pool when there was nothing to do at the motor pool and they would find something for you to do. Like I saw a friend of mine posted a thing where it shows a soldier like hosing off like a sidewalk in the rain. it just, that's the army for you, especially when there's nothing to do. But like I said, if you get there early, you'd get the hey you for something that was less brutal than being at the motor pool. That was one thing I found too. So anyway, oh, it's the head. Okay, thinking out my mic was unplugged again. So yeah, being on time. So the traffic. So and then again today we left a little bit later because I woke up. Usually I wake up at 5:30. Woke up at 6. Get the kids ready, and it's still like. Usually we'd leave like about 6:50, and then they're getting dropped off, around 7. But we were leaving like a little after 7, which they're still fine. But at that time, traffic is just crazy. And I've talked about it before, but it's just like it really helps you understand why you have speed limits and traffic lights and various things, and driver's ed for that matter. Everybody here, most of the people here have never been properly trained in driving. They just get on a moped in the farms, figured out, and then the way they ride their mopeds, they drive their cars, which it does not work. And you have so many people, like yesterday we went to the mall and you just get people that drive so slow and impede traffic. And it's like when there's a shoulder, it's like, get over. How hard is it to like, oh crap, I'm going slow. There's all these cars behind me. Maybe I should get over and let them go. Especially if you're going, I don't know, it's kilometers. So I'm not sure what it is in miles per hour, but the highway here, you should be going 60 at least. That should be the speed limit, 60 kilometers an hour. But you have people that are doing like 30, like just creeping. It's like, why are you even driving? You could walk, And it's like, it's insane to me. But they are trying to push more driver's ed and stuff like that. So I think that's a good thing. But it's not difficult to just pay somebody to let you pass your drivers. You know what I mean? If you got the money, you can just be like, hey, here's some money if I fail. So you can just give it to me. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's kind of how it is. You either have the slowest people or you got people that just have no patience and there's just no consideration for other people. But it's like, and that's kind of the thing is like everybody here drives like their first year driving. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, someone driving.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode.
Someone who's educated. It's good to be educated, but experience goes a lot further than education. Both of them together are what you want, right? But you can get by with just experience over education. But you got habits too that are a problem. So even though you have people that have been riding forever, here, you got the habits that they build and they just continue those. Plus it's the culture, they just do things different here. Like they pull out, like, okay, you know how in driver's ed they teach you, okay, if you're going to turn, you're going to pull out, whatever. First thing you do is turn on the blinker. Lets everybody know what your intentions are, right? Then you look. When the coast is clear, then you turn the wheel and give it gas and pull out, right? Here, they give it gas, pull out a little bit, and then they look. And then maybe they'll turn on their blinker. And then, you know what I mean? Like, it's just ass backwards. And I'm starting to learn, because I used to, like, I'd be driving and then somebody, like, that's the thing they do is they'll kind of pull out to try and get you to, like, oh crap, they're going to pull out. And so you stop and they're like, oh, thanks for letting me out. It's like, I'm not letting you out, dickhead. You made me think you were pulling out, but I don't know, hopefully over time it gets better and better. I don't know. It's insane. Like they have one light. There's only one traffic light in the Locus Norte that I've ever seen, and it's in our town, our city. There's a 4-way stop in our city. I mean, there's a couple 4-way intersections. Some are, but nobody, like there's an actual intersection that's a 4-way. There's stop signs on all 4 lanes of traffic, but nobody stops. They just, oh, this is the main road, so we just go. And then, like it's just, they just drive however they want. And then if you have a new car, that's showing like, oh, look, I got money because I bought a new car, or they have a family member that pays for their payments or whatever. I don't know. But they think that they can just drive however they want. Like they're the biggest assholes. Big fancy vehicles, I just want to run into them and destroy them. And then tricycle drivers, man, drive me nuts. But like I said, it's, even though I had a semester, was it a semester? It has to, or was it a quarter? No, it's got to be a semester, right? No. I'm trying to remember how high school was. So you had 2 semesters, but you had 2 quarters in each semester, and you had 4 quarters. Yeah, so it was a quarter thing for certain classes. I want to say, because I can't. Did I take driver's ed for half a year? That doesn't seem right. That seems like too much. I don't know, but it was the only class that I really paid attention to, and I got like straight A's. I got 100%, whatever. I turned everything in. I did everything. You know what I mean? Like it was. I wanted to get my driver's license, and I wanted to be a good driver. But even though I was educated, you have to the experience, because then the experience is you got to drive. I mean, if I'm the only one on the road, yeah, with education, I can drive perfect and not have problems, and I can still, but then you got everybody else on the road, right? So there's a couple times I remember when I was younger, when I first got my license, that, I was a shitty driver too, because I was new. Everybody's, and that's what they say. The best way to get good at driving is the drive, the experience, I remember my first day driving to school. I was so nervous. I was so nervous to make a turn off a highway road because there was no light. So I was in the turning lane. I had to wait for the gap, and I was so nervous because I had a truck that was like a clutch. So, I mean, I knew how to drive and I could, but I wasn't, super, I'm still learning the clutch to do it fast and in the gas and everything, so I was nervous, I remember. And then I remember one time pulling out of where I lived onto a highway that was like 50, 55 miles per hour. It was the speed limit, I want to say. And my first car was a little 85 Dodge Ram 50. So it was a little pickup truck. It was like a 4-cylinder, 4-gear. And so I'm there and I look and I can see a car way down, whatever. So I pull out, and this car was like a red Corvette convertible. This guy was hauling ass, but I couldn't tell. So, I mean, it's a little bit his fault. I mean, it's mostly the guy's fault, really, but then it's just my, inexperience or whatever, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so I just remember I pulled out into the lane, and then I look in the rearview mirror, and he's like coming up fast. And I was like, oh shit, I just pull out in front of this guy. So I went to get out of his way because I'm a considerate driver. But his plan was to just, bypass me, just go around. So we both moved over. We merged to the left lane at the same time, but he's hauling ass. So then he had to slam on the brakes, and then he ended up spinning out. And I remember looking in the rearview mirror as I'm driving, and I see his car like spinning out, and he's in a convertible, and he just sticks his hand up in the air, flipping me off as he's spinning in circles, And I was so scared. I remember that my grandfather, I don't know if that's where I was going, but that's where I went because of this. No, I think that's where I was going anyway. No, I don't know. I can't remember where, but anyway, but my grandfather lived down the road a little ways. And he lived in like an old retirement kind of trailer park. No, wait, was that one the retirement one? Anyway, he lived in like a trailer park. He lived in one that was just for like, 55 and over or something like that at one time. But so I drove as fast as my little 4-cylinder truck could take me. And I'm looking in the behind, I'm thinking this guy's going to come after me. And, I drive in there and I pull into his thing, and I remember I just park and I'm waiting. Sitting there thinking this guy's going to come after me or some shit. Yeah, so there was that. But then I was pretty good for a while. And then, actually, what are these? I don't know. So it's not, the first year is the worst, but I think they say after 5 years, you're pretty good, But I remember one time, so this was probably, I don't know, 2 years, maybe 3 after I got my license. I've been driving for 3 years, maybe 2 or 3. And I was driving to work. I got off the exit ramp off the interstate, and got to the light, to merge on whatever highway it was. And the light was red, so you got to stop. You can turn on red, but you got to stop, right? So we stopped, and I wasn't looking at traffic. I was just kind of, watching the guy in front of me. So then he starts to go. So then I, in turn, start looking, and then I'm about to go, and also, bam, I rear end the guy. So this person he was doing something else, and he wasn't paying attention. Not that it's still my fault because I rear-ended him, but so he was doing something. I don't know what this guy was doing, but so he started to go forward, but he stopped. And so him going forward, I took it as he was taking off. So then, I go looking, and then I rear-ended the guy. So I think those were the two. I've been in a couple little things, but those were the two that were, well, I don't know about the first one, but that one was definitely my fault. And then one time I was backing up, but I had kind of a large truck, and I didn't see the car. But that's kind of it. I'm already at my time limit, but I'll share the story real quick. Was with my friend. He was driving in his little Honda Civic car. We were on the interstate. It was the bumper, I-5 in Washington, and it's just like creeping and creeping and creeping. And so we're going, and we see, not the lane next to us, but the one over from there, we see like an attractive girl riding in a car. And so he's creeping along. I don't know, we're doing like 25 or something maybe. And we're kind of checking her out, and he's driving, he's looking. I remember I had like a CD case. So I was kind of looking for a CD to play, and look into and whatever, this and that. And then a semi truck comes in between us. But so, we're in a Honda Civic, it's pretty low. So we're able to still kind of see. So we both kind of like put our head down so we could still look at her underneath the trailer. And then wham, he rear ends his truck. And it was funny because I remember the guy, you could see it, he just kind of, he's a big truck. and he just kind of looks in the rearview mirror. He sees what rear-ended him, and he's just like, he don't care. He knows if anything's fucked up, it's our car. And he was right, you know. And the exact same thing happened to me once when I had a truck and someone rear-ended me. Although I wasn't as cool as him, we got out and looked, and the car just hit my trailer hitch. Didn't do nothing, but then it put a hole in that person's car. So, but anyway, that's it. Yeah, I can't believe I've been talking. That went by quick. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share some stories, I guess. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Let me know. You can email me or make a comment or whatever, however you listen to this or watch it. But again, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye.
You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.